Unit 2. Understanding climate change from a local context and anticipating impacts on human lives. Global warming isn't just something we hear about on the news. It's a reality that's affecting millions of lives around the world. The rising temperatures are causing more frequent and intense heat waves, storms, and heavy rainfall, and sea levels are continuing to rise. If you were living in one of these communities, how would you cope with the rising temperatures, floods, or droughts? Could your current lifestyle withstand these climate extremes? In this video, we'll explore the direct impact of severe weather on human health, livelihood, and well-being. You'll learn how extreme weather like heat waves, storms, and rising sea levels is impacting everyday lives, especially in vulnerable communities. How prepared do you think your community is for these extreme weather events? Could it adapt as quickly as one of these vulnerable communities have been forced to? Let's start with heat waves. When the temperature climbs more than 5 degrees Celsius above normal for over 3 consecutive days, the body struggles to regulate itself. This can lead to heat cramps, exhaustion, heat stroke, and even death. And it's not just the heat, it's the stress it puts on people, particularly those already living with health conditions like heart diseases or diabetes. What would you do if your access to healthcare was limited during a heat wave? How would this impact those already struggling with pre-existing health conditions? Heatwave seasons are becoming longer, and we are seeing more heat-related deaths, especially in communities with little access to medical care. What can be done to prevent vulnerable populations, the elderly, children, and those without access to adequate healthcare from the growing threat of extreme heat? Storms and heavy rainfall have devastating effects as well. Flooding, landslides, and damaged infrastructure can leave communities stranded. After the waters recede, there's another danger: waterborne diseases like malaria, dengue, and diarrhea, which can spread rapidly. If your community was flooded tomorrow, would you know how to access safe drinking water and avoid waterborne diseases? Rising sea levels are another consequence of global warming. Coastal areas are increasingly at risk of flooding, which not only displaces people but also contaminates water supplies. What would happen if your home was in danger of being submerged by rising sea levels? Where would you go, and how would you rebuild your life? In Bangladesh, rising sea levels and frequent storms are leading to an increase in respiratory diseases and mosquito-borne illnesses like dengue. People living in these conditions suffer from both physical health challenges and the mental toll of living under constant threat. How does living in constant fear of displacement and disease affect mental health? How would you handle such a reality for yourself or your family? Let's take a look at Jacobabad, Pakistan, one of the hottest cities in the world. Summers here regularly reach over 50 degrees Celsius. Amnesty International interviewed workers in outdoor jobs like agriculture, brick kiln factories, and delivery services. These workers reported suffering from heat stroke, difficulty breathing, dizziness, and headaches just from being outside for short periods. Imagine having to work outside in 50 degrees Celsius heat just to survive. What choices would you have if your livelihood depended on it? In Malawi, severe weather is a constant threat. Both floods and droughts are becoming more common, causing serious health problems. With many people already living with HIV and AIDS, these extreme conditions leave them especially vulnerable. What if you are already battling a chronic illness and then faced a natural disaster? How would you prioritize your health and survive in such dire conditions? But it's not just health that suffers. Climate change is destroying livelihoods too. In Sri Lanka, Seneviratne, a farmer from Anamadua, lost 95% of his rice crops in 2023 due to drought. He and his fellow farmers had no seeds to plant for the next season. What happens when the very land you rely on for survival no longer provides? What backup plan do communities like Seneviratnis have? In Malawi, maize is the dominant crop, occupying more than 70% of the country's agricultural land. But climate variability, more frequent droughts and erratic rainfall is leading to unpredictable crop yields. This is especially devastating for a country already facing widespread poverty. If the crops you rely on for food and income become unreliable, what would your options be? How would you adapt? Mozambique has also faced extreme devastation. Cyclone Idai, one of the deadliest storms in African history, hit the coast in 2019, destroying over 700,000 hectares of crops and displacing entire communities. How can communities rebuild after losing everything to a natural disaster? What role should global efforts play in helping those most affected by climate change? Severe weather affects all of us, but the poorest communities, those already living in environmentally fragile areas, are hit the hardest. Whether it's health or livelihoods, global warming has profound consequences for daily life. What responsibility do wealthier nations and individuals have to support those most vulnerable to climate change? Are we doing enough? In this video, we've seen how severe weather impacts health, well-being, and livelihoods. Understanding these connections is crucial to building resilience and preparing for the future. What can you do right now to help build resilience in your community and fight against climate change? Communities around the world are finding ways to adapt, but they need support. Together, we can take action to mitigate the impacts of climate change. Take action against climate change. Support initiatives in your community and beyond. This publication was made possible through the funding provided by Global Affairs Canada under the Empowering Women and Girls project. The Commonwealth of Learning wishes to thank the contributors to this video: Kuntal De, Sandy Hart, Francis Ferreira, Cyrus Kithuva, and Colin Somondi.